I'm back again. Now, before we start, I've got to tell you what's happened to me tonight because it's been a disaster. I've gone down to a place called Oamaru in the South Island of New Zealand to play in the South Island Chess Champs. I'm a current champion, won it the last 2 seasons, well, last 2 years. And I spent ages picking my accommodation, because I'm a light sleeper. And I picked this nice little standalone cottage on a campsite. I've got no neighbours joining on to me. Not going to have listening music all night. No parties next door. No having to listen to people shagging all night. And I thought this is perfect. Nice little retreat. So got in, went to bed at 9 o'clock last night. I thought this is absolutely blinding. Straight off to sleep. The next thing, I'm being woken up. And the whole fucking room shake. I thought, oh my God, earthquake. I've been in a few of them. I thought it was a bloody earthquake. It wasn't an earthquake, peeps. It was a freight train going right past the back of my bloody property. I couldn't believe it. It must have had about 40 carriages on it. It went on forever. I don't know what it was doing. It's probably taking coal to bloody Newcastle, probably going to pick up Botman and Trippier and bring them back, because everybody wants Botman and Trippier, and honestly, I couldn't believe it. I looked at all these reviews of this place, and not one single review have mentioned trains flying past the back garden. Now I got back to sleep, then 1 a.m. back again, bloody another freight train all night long. Last one come past 4:30 in the morning. I thought, that's it, I've had enough. So I got up, made some breakfast, and thought I'll come and talk to you lot instead, because disaster. I'm playing this kid this morning, right? He's about 12 years old. He's come down on a flight from the North Island. He means business, he's low rated, but he's going to be like 500 points better than his rating because he improves so quick, and he's going to be after me. You know what I mean? He'll have all the latest theory lined up, and I've got to play him for about 5 hours, having had no sleep. It's shocking, absolutely shocking. But it's going to be this, and then an hour after that, I've got to play another game, and I've got to do that for the next 5 days. And every night, I'm going to be woken up by these trains going by. Fucking, honestly, it's a complete disaster. I've been training for this for weeks. Anyway, peeps, that's enough of that. It's a typical me, that is, to be honest. One disaster after another. Anyway, talking about disasters, here's my team. 70 points. Another week where I've done all right, but I haven't done really good. I haven't had a really bad week yet, but I haven't had a real good one either. And I'm always sitting the post. Like Rashford, I get in my car, drive along, bang, hit a post. And honestly, I was talking last week when I was going, do I get Trippier and not worry about Salah? Do I get Botman? And then I thought, oh no, I'll get Reguilon, because he's 0.6% owned. I like a defensive differential, so I'll get him in. And great, I got him in. Watched him take a fantastic corner straight onto Evans's head in the goal. I'm thinking result, assist, chalked off. Would have been probably 12 points. He probably would have got the bonus points and that. So then he goes and does a Jackson, waves his card around it, the ref, gets booked. So I ended up with 5 points. I thought, well, that's not bad. Before the Newcastle game, I had 70 points. I was looking at a first really good game week of the season. Great. And then those slivery pricks when I got 8-0. It's peak FPL, isn't it? That the week everybody gets Botman in is the week he goes and scores. I don't think he scored all season last year. And he goes and gets a goal just when everybody buys him, And now everybody's saying it was obvious that Newcastle were going to win 8-0. Well, it wasn't obvious at all, peeps. They just come back from Milan. They had a tough away game in the Champions League. They've got tough fixtures coming up. A lot of people were saying that Trippier might have even been benched. And you'd think they'd have been happy with 2-0, wouldn't you? But to win 8-0 after we've just come back from Milan is just ridiculous, when did Newcastle ever win 8-0, for heaven's sake? The week Botman gets them, that's when. It's the same FPL logic that It's meant that the last 5 most highly transferred in players have all blanked. You know, it's the FPL gods, and it's a disaster. You know, Reguilon's a good pick. Happy with him. I did say I was going to get a new Newcastle player when I took Chilwell out. Well, Chilwell has in fact now gone and has become Trippier, because I've decided I can no longer be bothered waiting to get Salah in. I'm not going to get Salah. The only way I'm getting Salah now is if I take Haaland out, because I've burnt my boats. I've decided, and the reason is not so much Trippier, the reason is Son, because now we know pretty much for sure that Son is the new Spurs striker, and that is not going to change. He's not going to go back on the left, and the way he's playing, he in fact becomes all but essential. You know, he's only 9 million, not 9.1 or whatever, isn't he? And he's going to have to come in next week, I think, for me. I've already used my transfer this week. I would have brought him in this week for Sterling, but I've got possible injuries. You know, Reguilon could be injured. Saka, Maddison. If you've got Saka, Maddison, just leave them. Don't worry about them. Just play a bench player. And you never know, you might get some lucky points from Archer. Who knows? But the way Sheffield United are playing at the moment, you never know. But they might well improve. If you're getting a West Ham player, then to play Sheffield United, that's not a bad idea either. I've done that in a few of my fan teams. It's hard to know who to get actually out of Ward-Prowse and Bowen, isn't it? They're very. I've been tossing up on that one all week for my fan team, whether to get Ward-Prowse or Bowen, because Ward-Prowse is going to get so many assists. But Bowen's getting quite a few goals, isn't he? Even against Liverpool. Anyway, so that's my team. We don't want to look at that too much. Sterling, I'm going to give another week at least, because I have to basically. And but you know, he could do well. You never know, do you? Lightning might strike twice, and you might get some more FPL points. As for that prick Jackson, well, he tried so hard not to get booked, didn't he, the poor lad? You know, he didn't give it all that to the ref, and he was not fouling anybody, and he still managed to fuck up, didn't he? He sort of stood too near the goalie. Goalie hit the ball straight at him. Next thing, he's got a yellow card, you know, so he looked a bit bemused, didn't he? But it was almost funny if it wasn't so bloody tragic, you know what I mean? It's a bit like this bloody accommodation I'm in at the moment. Right, so what are we going to look at now? What I want to show you now, actually, I think this is still my team, isn't it? Right, so this is my team. I've got 347 points, and I'm at 3 million rank, which isn't great. The only thing in my favour is that my team value's 102.6 million, which is better than it sounds, because I've removed a lot of players that had like built up value, so it's almost proper value. 102.6 million. Now I want to show you the wife's team, because before the season started she was going on at me for spending so much time playing FPL, and I said, well, you can make a team, you can make one in 5 minutes. All you've got to do is go down, pick the most owned players, stick them in and make a team. She goes, I can't be bothered playing that stupid game. So I said, right, look, you just do it and I'll blimmin' tell you what to do. And she's like, all right then. So she's made the team. She's in the top million. She's got 30 points of me. She's got 375 points. She got, how many points did she get? She got 99 points this week. And all she did when she picked her team, like I said, she went down and picked all the highest owned players. So she's had Trippier since game week 1. Mitoma and Fernandes, I think Rashford was in there, Saka, Watkins was in there, Haaland. And every week she's just brought in the most transferred in player that's had a good fixtures. So she's brought in the likes of Alvarez last week, I think. Chilwell she brought in. But basically this is like a template, very template team, and it's making no early transfers at all. And she's got 30 points more than me, and it is a good team, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably better than my team, to be honest, at this stage, because she didn't jump on the Sterling wagon or any of those other silly things. And so she's 30 points ahead, but her team value is only 100.6, so it's exactly 2 2 million less than my team value. So this highlights a different way of playing, doesn't it? So she's got 30 points more, but I've got 2 million. Now, who wins out of that? Would you rather have 30 extra points or an extra 2 million for the next 32 game weeks or whatever it is? I'll put it to you, peeps, that 2 million is worth more than 30 points. 2 million's kind of the difference between Trippier and Botman. And I'd say that Trippier will outscore Botman by more than 30 points this season. Or it's the difference between Foden and Son, or a Matoma and a Son. And again, I think that Son will outscore those options by more than 30 points. So I'm not too unhappy to be 30 points behind this team. And again, I didn't know I would be, did I? Because what I always say is you can't control your points, but you can control your team value. So I've done well with my team value. Unfortunately, I haven't had points, but that wasn't like set in stone, was it? So I wasn't gaining team value at the expense of points. It's just worked out that way. But I've still got that extra 2 million. So this is an interesting team, though, and it will continue to make. See, it's still got Chilwell, and won't be taking him out until Friday. Chilwell actually could play this week. The manager might actually say, Chilwell's going to come in, but he won't say that. But I'll tell you what's pissing me off, people. These people on Twitter that do these projected teams, they've got all their little friends together, and they do for each club, they do a predicted lineup. Well, I'll put it to you, it's a load of bollocks, because I went on there the other day and said to them, where's your evidence that Chilwell's going to start next week? And they didn't really have any, of course. But, I followed Chelsea, and I think I know better than they do, to be honest. I pretty much knew Chilwell wasn't going to start, because they want to give Mudryk a run at games, don't they? Because that's what he needs. There's a good player in there in Mudryk. It's just well hidden, and what he needs is lots of starts. And but I do think Chilwell will start this week, because what they'll do, they'll put Chilwell at left back, Colwell will slide into central defence, and Disastrous will go over to the right hand side in place of the injured player. What's his name? Tell me his name, peeps. I know Chelsea better than people. I can't remember his name. Gusto, that's it. So he's going to come in instead of Gusto. And but if James is back, then Chilwell might not be in the team. But unless James is back, I think Chilwell will play. But I wouldn't keep him anyway, because of price changes. But this team here, the Weiss team, not worrying about losing value, as you've already seen, because it's 2 million less than mine already. And we'll wait and do the sensible thing and wait until Friday, So this shows another approach of playing, doesn't it? And it's a team that's beating me at the moment by 30 points. Just by being sensible, not making any early transfers, and not worrying about team value. But like I said, I do think 2 million is going to be worth more than 30 points. Anyway, Pete, so what I want to show you now is a team for someone in my mini league. How are we going to get to it? Let's have a look. We'll go leagues. I'll just check I'm recording, because I did one just now. I wasn't even recording. So tired. I've turned out I wasn't even recording the bloody thing. So this is my mini league. So the real community. Now this is a head-to-head league. It's got a few of Twitter people in it. Bateman's in it, and Rob Hall, FPL Dread, Nema's in it. Peter Brooks, another really good player. Hindu Monkey, Steve-O's in it. Gabrielle, the ones, and Nat the Hall, Chris Turner as well. And we've got our own blind player in it, proper blind player, who's doing better than all of us, keeps beating us all. And we've also got this FPL Wag, who's got a team called No Light Blues, and it includes no Man City players. She's had no Man City players since the start, and she's beaten me. She's got 367 points, so she's ahead of me by more than 20 points, with no Haaland and no Man City players. It's 1.5 million, doing okay. Captained Salah this week, got 88 points, and that was including Gusto's sending off. She's got 3.6 million in the bank because she's got Salah and she's got Trippier and all the others, Son, Maddison. So basically, if you don't have Haaland, you can pretty much have whoever you want. She'll be able to take out Saliba or Gusto and bring in Trent Alexander-Arnold. You know, so basically, if you take Haaland out, you can have anybody. You know, and most of us would not have started the season without Haaland, would be. Let's be honest. I mean, Man City got such easy fixtures that we wouldn't do it. But what I'm starting to see on Twitter now is people actually saying, do we really need Haaland? Because people are realising that if you have Salah and Haaland, then you can't have Trippier, you can't have Son, which is why in my own team I was delaying getting Trippier in, because I hadn't made that decision that whether I wanted Salah or not. But now I've made the decision, and it's like a lot of people are now saying, well, a few people, if you get Salah, the only way to really get him and have a great team is to take out Haaland. You know, it's like sacrilege, isn't it? You don't take out Haaland. But when you look at the fixtures that Liverpool have got coming up very shortly, like Everton, Forest, Luton, and even Brentford, even Brighton for that matter, aren't bad. But these three here, Everton, Forest and Luton, when Man City have got Brighton, Man United, oh, they've got Bournemouth, yeah. But they've also got Chelsea and Liverpool and Arsenal coming up. And people are thinking, you know, because at the moment, Salah's pretty much been keeping up with Salah's been keeping up with Haaland, I think, hasn't he? Haaland's got 51 points at the moment. Salah's got 43. Okay, so Haaland's 8 ahead. But Haaland's had a lot easier fixtures than Liverpool. Liverpool have had tough fixtures. So I'm thinking that Salah and Haaland are pretty much of a muchness in terms of points. Forthcoming points. There's not a lot in it. So you could pick and choose one or the other. You know, I think that's what you've got to do. I mean, I might just keep Haaland and not have Salah. It's probably what I'm going to do. But taking out Haaland and having Salah is an option. But I'm thinking personally that I would rather cover Liverpool with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Luis Diaz or somebody like that. Or even Darwin up front, Darwin Núñez. But it shows, this team from WAG, to me, it shows that there are other ways of playing the game. But the thing with these ways of playing the game, and why a lot of people don't do it, is variance. People are very, very scared of variance. They don't like it. I mean, when they say two teams have got 367 points, right? Say the template team that started the season has got 367 points. And WAG's team has got 367 points. Now, a lot of people would not be able to play with WAG's team simply because of variance, because they would have had to endure what she's endured, which is a game week 1 rank of 5 million, a game week rank in game week 2 of 5 million, when everyone on Twitter's getting a hat-trick or whatever from Haaland. I don't know, he got goals, didn't he, first 2 weeks? And like everyone would have been telling her that her team was rubbish. You know, you can't do this, you can't not have Haaland, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, after 6 weeks, her team's got the same amount of points as a lot of people that have followed the Haaland strategy. And they would not have dreamt of starting with a team like this, you know, because it's different, isn't it? She's picked her own team, whereas people on Twitter are just doing what the content creators tell them, or they're too scared to try anything different because of the consequences, you know. I mean, Haaland's scored every week just about, hasn't he? And she's still managed to keep up. You know, she had a game week rank of 106,000 in game week 3, which is really good, really good. You know, she captained Chilwell, for heaven's sake. When they played Luton, she got 14 points from Gusto. People say, oh, that's lucky. She got lucky. And she should still have Haaland. But people that week were only getting about 40 points, weren't they? But she got 70. And she's had a good week this week as well, I think. She got 88 points, didn't she? So, yeah, why not? She was in the top million game week rank. The team value's not great, but people talking about getting rid of Haaland now. I mean, it's going to be interesting because Haaland's got difficult fixtures coming up. Her team's already in place. She's still got all her chips, and she's doing well. She got 88 even with Gusto in the team. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to follow this team and see how it gets on, because when I posted it, I retweeted one of her tweets, and everyone was saying, oh yeah, but it's no good her boasting now that she's doing all right. It's the end of the season that counts. So we'll follow this team and see how she goes. It may well be that a couple of bad weeks from Haaland, and you may well find that everybody takes Haaland out. You never know, do you? But this just shows that you can survive without Haaland because of Salah. And that's why I was so annoyed with Kane leaving. Because if Kane had still been in the league, it would have given people a lot more options, and we'd have seen a lot more different teams than we're seeing now. Maybe Kane would have kept up with Haaland. In that Tottenham team at the moment, imagine if Kane had still been the striker, then people might well have Kane instead of Haaland. So Haaland is, he's priced a lot more than Salah now, isn't he, this season? A couple of million more than Salah. So it is doable. Anyway, Pete, so let's have a look at, do our usual, have a look at the transfers by transfers in and around, see what's happening. So Leno and Areola as usual, every single week it's Leno and Areola, isn't it? Every week. They're now 8.8, whereas some of us got them for 8.5. So the longer people wait for the wild cards, the more they're having to pay, because it is going to be that combination that most people go for. Botman and Trippier have a big 2 this week. Walker, of course, because that'll be for casuals, bringing him in. Cash still being bought up, which is good. I'll be starting him this week. First time I'll have started him, actually. So I bought him on my wild card a few weeks ago. And he's another one that's going up in price. I think he's going up in price again today or tomorrow. Cabore's coming in for the double. Anderson, another one of my players, is being bought. Good defence, Palace, they're not too bad. Son, Mitoma, we all had Mitoma. Well, I know I did. I had him when the season started, which is, so you saw the Weiss team there, she's still got it. But a lot of us started with Mitoma, didn't we? And then took him out because of Brighton's tough fixtures. So he got a brace at the weekend. Gordon's an interesting one. Now, Ward, Price and Bowen, they got Sheffield this week. Now, my fan teams, I've been tossing up whether I want Ward, Prowse or Bowen, because Ward, Prowse normally does well in fan team. But so does Bowen, because they both tend to play 90 minutes. And it's quite hard choosing between Ward-Prowse and Bowen, isn't it? Ward-Prowse a million cheaper, just about. See, Salah's coming in, but he got 9 points, but he's still not like the highest. Because people are recognising, I think, it's not easy to get Salah in, is it? It's committal. Like if you get him on your wild card, it's a big commitment. Because you have to kind of leave out the likes of Son and Trippier. Because people were waiting till game week 9, weren't they, before wildcarding? And they have to make that decision. Because if they don't do that, they're just going to end up with the same players that everybody else has got anyway. Now Morris is coming in, but you see this Morris is nowhere near as heavily bought in as Alvarez was last week. Alvarez was over 1 million transfers in. Morris so far less than 250k. So he's not even the most bought in. The most bought in this week is actually Botman. So the curse of the most bought in player this week will be down to Botman or Son probably. Or maybe it will be Morris. But so far, the most bought-in player each week is blanked every single week. Which is crazy, isn't it? We all thought we were going to get off for Mark Alvarez, and that prick Rodri got sent off, didn't he? Kind of ruined it. Whether Alvarez would have got points or not, I don't know. I mean, I might have got more points out of Foden. Very annoying, that set. This is the kind of thing with FPL. This is why I concentrate on the prices, because you can't guarantee what sort of points you're going to get. Everything always goes wrong. And it's very annoying, that was. And those pricks Newcastle got won by 8 goals. So Chilwell is the most transferred out by far. Again, I do think he might play this week. I really do. But I couldn't keep him just because of the price falls. You know, it's yeah, had to go. So people are taking out his Stupinian. Henry's still going out, of course. Gusto's going in droves. Rodrigo the prick, he's the most sold midfielder. Rashford's still being sold again. He's an annoying player, that Rashford, isn't he? I mean, he doesn't seem to mix well, does he, with other players? I'm looking for the right word. He, like I bought in Regulon, and Rashford doesn't pass to him enough. You know, he goes on his own, he gets the ball, he does something useless with it. He needs to cooperate more with those around him. He doesn't pass enough to the right people. He's a bit like Sterling in that regard. At least Sterling tries to pass, though, doesn't he, usually? But Rashford, he's an annoying sort of a player. He doesn't track back either. This is why all the Man United left backs are probably injured all the time, because they're having to do so much work, because Rashford's not helping out. It's useless. Now, Sterling and Mbeumo, both in my team. Like I said, I've got to keep Sterling for the next game at least, because I've used my transfer, and I might have other injuries. But Mbeumo is going to have to go as well after this week, I think, because no fixtures are turning to custard. And without Henry, he's not looking as good. You know, I wouldn't get him even if I had good fixtures. I don't think I would bring him in if I didn't already own him, because something's changed. Yeah, they're not quite what they were. Then obviously I still get a few points here and there. Jackson tried so hard not to get booked, didn't he? So hard, you know. He still managed it, of course. It's almost comical. If it wasn't so bloody tragic. It would be. Anyway, peeps, that's about it, I think. You know, we could have a look at the price changes, but we know who's price changing, don't we? Who's coming in, who's coming out. So, you know, as for your own teams, what you do with them, you know, it's up to you, peeps. You know, nothing to do with me. It's your team. Sort it out yourselves. You know, as I always say to people, do your own work. Listen to what I've got to say. Listen to what others have got to play with, and do your own thing. You know, if you listen to me and then done something different, you'd have done really well, wouldn't you? You know, because I was recommending Sterling in before he got his points. I was recommending Trippier before he got his points. I was recommending someone else before they got their points. And then, of course, I don't get them myself. And then they get the points, you know. So you've probably done better than I have. And but we'll get in there, peeps. We'll get in there. You know, our team value is building nicely. And we'll see what happens anyway. But sort your own teams out. You know, you're doing better than I am. And hopefully you as well. Hopefully you won't. But anyway, peeps, I've got to go now, and I'll talk to you all later. And I think what I have shown in this video is that there are different ways of playing, aren't there? You know, we've seen it. I've shown you 3 different teams. One that's patient, and one that hasn't even got any Man City players in it. You know, and they're both doing well. So, like I said, there's a lot more ways of playing this team. Anyway, peeps, I've got to go. I've got to go and beat this little kid at chess now. God knows I'm going to do it, and I'm going to need a lot of stimulants, aren't I? You know, I'll start off with some coffee. If that's not working, I'm going to have to go down to the seedier side of Oamaru and find something that is going to work. You know, because I'm going to need some artificial stimulants to get me through the next 4 days, because it's going to be a shit show. You know, I've got these trains going past. They don't come past in the day. I mean, I've been sat here now since I got up. Has a train gone past? No, it hasn't, has it? They've all stopped. You know, they just wait until I go to sleep, and then they start up, you know, on their way to Newcastle to get Botman and Trippier. Well, I've had enough, peeps, and I've got to go anyway. So I'll talk to you all later, and remember to go to the right screen and like and subscribe. Okay then, so bye for now, peeps, and I'll try and get back before the deadline. You know, God knows what state I'll be in, but I'll be back anyway. So cheers for now then, peeps.